episode 468 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you were stoked to play in the Decathlon Finals this past weekend,
big time,
or you've been jamming some Commander with your friends, we are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we're talking all things Kamigawa.
That's right. Oh, it's just somehow... 'tis just around the corner.
Yes, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty previews begin the 27th of this month officially, although there are some spoilers out there if you're interested.
If that's your thing.
If that's your thing. But we wait.
That shouldst not
be seen
I'm being
yet
very fancy
by
this
human
eyes so far.
Are you? What's happening here?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm drinking this English breakfast tea.
I knew it was. Yep. The tea will do that to you.
Now it's all shutst and twixt.
It's the same way. Like,
wasn't.
If you drink alcohol, it affects you. If you drink coffee, it affects you. If you drink tea, you turn British.
You get very fancy.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
Are you wearing bloomers and a top hat?
None of your business. It's a very personal question. But
yes.
Anyone who isn't just wearing full pants and then more pants today in Minnesota is wrong.
Seriously. It is frigid out there.
It's a multi-pants day.
It is so cold, everybody.
It's so cold.
We live in a frozen tundra.
Yeah.
We live in Kaldheim. I'm just saying it.
Oh, man.
But soon we'll live in Kamigawa.
That's true. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about past Kamigawa.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about the story. We'll have a Magic story time.
Excellent.
For the preview, the sort of preview story that we got.
Yeah.
About Kaito's spark igniting.
Oh, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
And this is also interesting to me because Kamigawa was before our time, and it's a really beloved Magic plane, and we wanted to kind of know why that was.
But also one that people for a long time thought they would never go back to.
They thought we would never see this day.
So why? For both of those things, we'll talk a little bit about why.
Yes, and we've got to look at some of the most iconic Kamigawa block cards that were ever printed to kind of give us a little peek into the past and see, hey, why was there such a fuss about this set? Why were people so into it? So I'm super excited to get a retrospective of Kamigawa and a future-spective.
Yeah.
Or a now-spective.
A future-spective.
A future-spective. But before we start the show, thank yous are in order.
Yes, thank you first to all of our patrons of the show, and especially to Drew and Amal, who have become patrons in the past week.
Thank you, Drew and Amal.
Thank you to both of you. And patrons, as a special thank you, this Saturday, we're running yet another Good Luck High Five patron-only tournament.
Yeah, we're running Best of 3 Alchemy. We're starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. Come on in, play some matches. If you need to leave early or start late, it's totally fine.
Absolutely.
We work around it.
But we all hang out in the Discord. It's a really fun time. You can get so many prizes, whether you do well, whether you do poorly, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You could win a prize.
Play some Magics to start off your Saturday morning. Hang out with some cool people talking Magics. It's just a great time all around, and it's open to patrons only. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Become a new member. Kick your year off right. Get in on our fun tournaments. Join our family.
I thought you were just going to be like, kick your year.
Kick your year right where it hurts.
Yep.
Become a patron. Oh, God.
Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Getting anything for your magical life at Card Kingdom is another great way to kick your year where it hurts.
We've got nonstop bangers as far as Card Kingdom slogans here in 2022.
Yep. All winners all the time, which is what you'll be if you shop at Card Kingdom. They really are just wonderful people.
Yeah.
If you're excited for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty and you're like, I need to pre-order a booster box. I need to pre-order a set booster box, like draft booster box, hop on over there and get it done.
Yeah, and the article we're going to be citing today for the iconic cards of Kamigawa comes to us none other than from Card Kingdom.
From Card Kingdom.
And their blog, which is really cool, and you should read it. So check out their blog. You're going to hear some of it today on our show, but they've got so many more articles over there. cardkingdom.com/GLHF.
What lovely members of the community.
They truly are. I would give them an award.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give them
community
a
award.
Crimby.
Oh, we should. We should have given them a
A
Crimby.
posthumous Crimby.
Well, wait, that means they died.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Once again, we've destroyed this sponsor read. It's time for the Scryfall randomizer, everybody. I'm going to hit the random card button on scryfall.com. I'm going to show Megan some art, which I have a feeling she might know. But can she remember exactly what the card does?
Oh, I'm excited.
All right, what do you think this is, Megan?
Oh, man. This is it's obviously a Simic card.
Yes.
As it has the very clear Simic symbol on it.
Big clue. Not fair, #rigged.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, is this like a Simic? It's gonna be like a Simic signet.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah,
You're very
or
close.
the Simic, like, what were they called? Clue stones?
It's a Simic charm.
Oh, that was good. I was like, or the Simic charm.
Simic charm, that's what this is.
Ooh, I literally do not remember even a little bit what the Simic charm does. I'm gonna guess a Simic charm. Okay.
I feel like you could guess.
Okay,
At least
I'm
some
gonna
of
guess.
the things that it could do.
Let's see. You can put a +1/+1 counter on something.
Okay.
You can bounce something.
Okay.
Or you
What's the third one?
can draw a card.
Okay.
go.
Yeah, you're very, very close, obviously. This costs green-blue for an instant.
Yeah.
Choose one. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
I don't
That
know.
makes
Maybe,
sense. That's a
maybe you
pump.
want to counter more, but I don't know. Return target creature to its owner's hand.
Yeah.
You nailed that. And the third one is actually a little weird. Permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, that is helpful, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Now that I see, I was like, obviously it's either the charm, the clue stone, or the signet. One of those three things.
Yeah, but pretty
Great.
close. That's the closest we've ever gotten on a card here on the randomizer so far. From our time, I will say, from our time playing the game of Magic the Gathering.
All right.
Sometimes
Maria,
these old
what will
ones are a little
yours be?
tough. I know, I'm so nervous. You did so good.
Okay. Hold on, it's taking it. Oh. Okay, let's see. Gonna go ahead and tell you, never heard of this card in my life.
Oh, great. Okay.
Maria, tell us what you're seeing.
Okay, there's I was going to call this person an angel, but it's their cape behind them that looks like angel wings. Standing on top of a waterfall with glowing orbs kind of surrounding them. Their hands are out and there's a crescent moon behind them. There's a lot going on in this picture.
There's a lot going on in this picture.
I'm like, I don't even know what I could name this card because there's so much happening.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this card's name?
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, gosh, it could be Mage of the Moon Falls. It could be
It's called Sway of the Stars.
Sway of the Stars. I guess those things look like stars.
Sway of the Stars.
Okay.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what you think this could do.
Sway of the Stars.
What is this card?
This is blue-white, and it costs... The way you said okay there doesn't give me confidence. What does it do?
What's it cost? What is it? What
it's
does it
an
do?
enchantment.
Okay.
Aura. That's what stars makes me think of. And you enchant target creature. Enchanted creature. If you pay 3 colorless, it gains flying. This enchantment is very bad.
Wow. Yeah.
It costs 2 and a white.
I have to tell you, you're quite wrong.
Great. I love saying the complete opposite thing of what this card is.
Although you were right on one of the colors.
Oh, okay.
Listen to this card,
Is it
though.
blue-white?
It's blue.
Oh, it's blue.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Sway of the Stars, 8 blue.
What?
For a sorcery, each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents they own into their library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7.
This is way weirder than I was going for here.
Right? This is from Betrayers of Kamigawa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Look
What are
at
the
that.
chances? Banned in Commander.
Banned.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that
Makes
would be
sense.
very annoying.
But also I was reading it off the card instead of the oracle to the side, and like how clunky back when people were we can't use singular they.
Yeah, each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her library.
Into the he or she owns into his, and you're like, okay, calm down.
They really missed an opportunity to drink some tea and be really British and call it ones.
Yes.
Each player shuffles one's own hand.
I wish that there was a British localization of this card that had that text on it. Each player you shall shuffle one's own hand into one's own library.
Yes. Sorry to all of our British listeners.
Yeah.
Not sorry. That's cool.
Do you want to hear
unbelievable.
a funny British story about a person that probably many of the people here at least know of?
I mean, I will never say no to that question.
Okay, maybe you've heard this one, but when we were in London several years ago,
weird.
I know, several years ago, for the Mythic Championship that was there.
Yeah.
Caroline, Mighty Linguini, and Athena and I went to a high tea, and it was very fun. But Caroline's favorite tea is English breakfast tea.
Yeah, it's great.
And Athena and I discovered that the entire time that Caroline had been in England so far, she had not yet ordered English breakfast tea because she didn't know if they called it English breakfast tea or because they were in English, they just called it breakfast tea.
So she was too scared.
She was too nervous.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's one of my favorite stories. It's so good. And by the way, they call it English breakfast tea.
They just call it that. But it is a little weird because
it's a legitimate question to be like, if I order it in England,
are they going to just go in the back and laugh into their handkerchiefs? Kind of like in France, you don't say I want the French fries with my steak. Like
really? You just say you want fries?
Well,
no, you're just like, I want potatoes.
Frites, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're saying, but I think they would kind of look at you a little askance because I don't think they call them that. You know, they're like, we didn't make these.
Yeah, this is all
Look,
you.
No, we didn't. No, you guys, America. Okay, so just keep your hands off of it. Let's start in the past with Kamigawa of Kamigawa's past.
Yeah. So way back in the day, by which I mean, when was the first Kamigawa?
Yeah, let's look it up. Like when even we're like dust off the old tome for 1972.
Wow.
Before Magic existed.
I don't know that's when we first went to Kamigawa in the 1970s. Okay.
Kamigawa.
When did it come out?
First Google first Kamigawa.
Yeah. Hey, Kamigawa.
Hey, but when?
But when?
How about Kamigawa? But when? We used to do a segment on this show called, can you believe this or not? Called Ask Siri, where we would ask Siri a magic question.
Oh, that's right.
And she would respond just with whatever she happened to Google.
Yeah.
It was complete and utter nonsense.
2004.
Okay.
So it was Champions of Kamigawa,
Yep.
Betrayers of Kamigawa, and Saviors of Kamigawa.
Okay, I see the theme there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little Star Wars trilogy there.
Yes, that was, back in the day when we had blocks had 3.
Yeah, 3.
So yeah.
2004.
Okay, so way back then, basically, Kamigawa is this place that had people in it, obviously. People and moonfolk, which is what Tamio is.
Oh, Tamio, yeah.
So there were mostly people, and then the people worshipped the spirits of their world, the kami.
Okay.
And then back in original Kamigawa, all of a sudden, like, kami started manifesting on, like, in the physical realm.
Ooh.
And there was a big, like, the Kamigawa block was essentially about a big war.
Okay.
Or big battles between the kami and the people. And the people were like, why? And it turned out it was a person's fault, because of course it was.
Yes.
It was a person's fault.
Always.
He had like gotten, like, kidnapped a kami, essentially, to, like, make himself immortal.
As you do.
As you do. He kidnapped a kami to make himself immortal. And then that's why there was a big fight about it. And then his daughter helped rescue the stolen Kami, which became, or who is Kyodai, who is still in current Kamigawa.
Oh.
Like a fast forward 1,000 years, current Kamigawa connected to the Emperor.
Okay. Wow. So these spirits were like, excuse me, you don't just come here and abduct us trying to be immortal. We are going to wage war on you. And the people are like, what's going on? We worshipped you for years. And they're like,
people were like, what? Why? But obviously it was person fault.
Yeah. So somebody was trying to get all immortal up in here.
It always person fault.
Okay.
So yeah, that's, that was kind of the very general
Spark Notes
version of original Kamigawa.
Okay.
It was as a block full of legendary creatures.
Yes.
It was like only legendary creatures essentially.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
It was, except that it kind of like was one of the reasons why I think people thought they wouldn't go back to Kamigawa, is because it didn't necessarily make the play experience of the block a ton of fun.
Well, that was back when the old legend rule was in effect.
That's true. You could not, like, if you had one and your opponent played one, then they both die.
Did you know this, listeners? If you're new to the game?
In our day.
In our day.
Very briefly in our day.
Yes.
It changed pretty soon after we started playing.
Yeah, but that's bizarre. Think about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes flavor sense, truly, because there can be only one. It's a legend.
Yes.
And if you both have them, the game's like, error.
Which is why back in the day of first Innistrad, one of people's favorite ways in Constructed to kill a Geist of Saint Trapped was to simply play your own Geist of Saint Trapped.
Yeah, and that was a bizarre world to live in, so they changed that rule, rightfully so. But that would have made this kind of weird.
Yeah. So yes, right? Like it was a big part of the set. And it was very strange.
Okay. Well, gosh. Yeah. Can't imagine that even.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the very, very brief version.
Okay. Do you want to talk about some of the iconic cards of
let's do
old
it.
Kamigawa block? Because we got one heck of an amount of cards that are really recognizable, playable still to this day from Kamigawa block. Lots that you will definitely remember.
Yeah, we're talking about stuff that it's like, oh, hey, you will recognize this card even though we'd never played in 2004.
Right.
We were 8 years away from playing Magic.
Magic wasn't even a glint in our eye. I actually did play a game when I was a little Maria. Got some cards from a high school student, which I hung around at that high school because my mom was a theater director, and they probably just gave them to me so I'd stop bothering them all the time, which I did. I was a terror. And so I remember playing with a dragon, a red dragon. Oh. And now to this day, I'm like, was that Shivan Dragon?
Probably. Statistically, quite likely.
Who knows? Yeah, but so I suppose it glimmered in my eye, but then it went away forever. But yeah, 2004. So these cards have remained iconic since then.
So here, starting with number 20, Ninja of the Deep Hours. This is 3 and a blue for a 2/2. Whenever Ninja of the Deep Hours deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And of course, it has ninjutsu. Yeah,
ninjutsu, I think, is the highlight here. This is such a beloved mechanic, and it's such a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
For people who aren't familiar with ninjutsu, if this creature attacks and isn't blocked, what you're able to do is take another creature with a ninja from your hand and put it into play in place of that creature tapped and attacking.
Yeah. And so this one, you just draw a card.
That seems
pretty
like a sweet card.
Yeah.
I love that card. And yes, iconic.
So the next one is a part of a cycle.
Okay.
Which were these sorceries that had epic on them.
Oh.
These spells had epic, and epic says for the rest of the game, you can't play spells.
What?
At the beginning of each of your upkeeps, copy this spell except for its epic ability.
Oh.
So 5 white, Enduring Ideal is the card.
Okay.
5 white, sorcery, search your library for an enchantment card and put it into play, then shuffle your library.
Oh my gosh.
So every upkeep, you're putting an enchantment into play now.
That's nonsense.
But you can never cast another spell.
But you can't do anything else.
You can't
But this is going to keep going. Oh my gosh.
Forever.
I love it. That's so cool.
I mean, I feel like Epic probably is one of those mechanics that we will not see
not
again.
ever see again. Yeah, I would guess that is probably the case. Next up in 18, we've got Honden of Night's Reach and the whole Honden cycle. This is a shrine cycle.
Yeah.
Shrines, you've probably even seen them if you're an arena player, just kind of hanging around. They're super cool to try and do things if you've got multiple shrines in play and have some kind of shenanigans. This is 3 and a black. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent discards a card for each shrine you control.
Yeah.
So you go all in on shrines.
Yeah.
They're just discarding.
But they're legendary, so you can't. It's not like you can have multiple.
Correct.
Like Honden of Night's Reach, you have to have multiples across all the colors.
Yeah, and this was
cool.
a really cool way to kind of have a subtype of enchantment with Shrine too.
Yeah.
Which was so unique. And yeah, and I think shrines are really cool.
They are very, very cool.
Because they make you work super hard to get the benefit of them. But if you do, you've just got to sit there and applaud and be like, you've done it, opponent. You've truly done it.
And if you're like, when I was seeing them recently, like you said on Arena, because they were in M21.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, so Shrine's iconic in Kamigawa.
Yeah. This is actually one that I don't know. 17, Kodama of the North Tree.
I don't know if I've heard of this one before. 2 green, green, green for a 6/4 spirit. Trample. Can't be the target of spells or abilities. So Shroud.
All right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Rude.
This article says long before Carney T made its name as Standard's untargetable boogeyman, this Northy tree, okay, sure, coming out of the sideboard to punish opponents.
Yeah.
I can imagine that card being very annoying.
Rude.
So rude.
Here we go. Heartbeat of Spring.
Oh, yeah.
At 14, 2 and a green. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of that type to his or her mana pool. Of course, a cube staple.
Oh, yeah. Cube staple.
You got to be able to
green.
ramp.
So this is a kind of precursor, this article says, to cards like Wilderness Reclamation, which you may remember even less fondly.
Yeah.
Or more, whatever.
And this is interesting because this they mentioned is 2-sided. Like everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Everyone get the benefit.
Wow. Yep. Hopefully you drafted a Creator Hoof Behemoth and your opponent didn't. That's all I'm going to say there. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's also a combo deck with it.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool.
Heartbeat combo.
Yeah.
Guillaume Matignon.
Back in the day at French Nationals.
Cool. Coming in at 15th, we've got Godo Bandit Warlord. I've never heard of this card.
Yeah.
3/3 for 5 and a red. Better be good. It is a legendary creature. Speaking of all the legends in this set, it's a human barbarian. When it comes into play, you may search your library for an equipment card and put it into play. Oh, if you do, shuffle your library. Whenever Godo attacks for the first time each turn, untap all samurai you control. After that phase, there's an additional combat phase.
Oh.
Wow. This is a beater. I mean, it costs 6 mana.
Yeah.
But you get like quite a lot of abilities here. You're going to double your combat. You get to go get an equipment and just put it onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. The art is very cool. I like it.
The art is great. Yeah, somebody on the back of a, I don't know, mastodon-like thing with a backpack full of spears.
Next up at 14 is Ebony Owl Netsuki, which I have also never heard
of
of.
this card.
2 mana artifact. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 7 or more cards in hand, it deals 4 damage to them.
So it's like a curse.
Wow, rude.
Well, you're going to take this card personally, I think.
I would take that card personally. It's just rude.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Yeah. This. Yeah. All right. Look. Oh, it was part of Owling Mine. It was owl. It was owl.
It was an owl. So Owling Mine had Pro Tour Honolulu.
One of my favorite movies, Owling Man.
Killing your opponent by letting them draw too many cards.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a pretty sweet combo.
Yeah, right? And then it just kills them?
Kills them with the owl.
Pretty weird.
That sounds like a janky deck if I've ever heard about one.
Very, very janky.
I don't know.
But
maybe it did good.
Yeah. Next up, we have Nourishing Shoal, which you will perhaps know from the Gristlebrand combo deck.
Oh, yes.
Gris Shoal brand.
Gris Shoal brand.
Nourishing Shoal, green, X, instant arcane. You may remove a green card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game rather than pay Nourishing Shoal's mana cost. You gain X life.
Yep. Yeah. I've been grizzle daddied with this card before. I'll just say that. Yep.
Yeah.
Number 12, we have, I don't know how to say this card.
Boseiju?
Boseiju, who shelters all. Legendary land. Well, even the lands are all legendary. Comes into play tapped. Tap, pay 2 life, add 1 to your mana pool. If the mana is spent on an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered by spells or abilities. I love it.
Yeah. It's a very, I think that there have been in the past some combo decks that used this.
Sure.
Just to make sure, like, hey, control decks, you can't stop me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to put this card in every deck I play.
Pretty cool.
That's
well,
awesome.
You don't play instants and sorceries.
No, I don't. Never mind. Make a creature version, wizards.
There
Think
is
about
a creature
it.
version.
Oh yeah, I suppose there is the whatever
Cavern of
Souls. Azami, Lady of Scrolls.
Ooh, this art is gorgeous.
Wow, check that out. 2 blue. Legendary creature once again. Human wizard for an 0/2. Tap an untapped wizard you control. Draw a card.
Oh, all right.
That is expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it was a different time, but that is a costly card.
Yeah.
For its ability.
That being said,
yes,
you can. I mean, what if you're playing a wizard deck and then you play this and then you tap 5 wizards and you draw 5 cards?
Okay, never mind.
Maria,
I love this
dream
card.
big.
Never mind. This card's appropriately costed.
Yeah.
That sounds sick.
Think about it. You play wizard, this card.
You've dumped your hand and then you just refill.
Yeah.
This card
Pretty
seems
great.
awesome. Hello, do people play this card in Commander? I would think so.
Yes.
That seems really
I believe
sweet.
that it is probably,
a wizard deck?
Yes.
Oh.
And there's also like self-mill decks, right?
Sure.
Thassa's Oracle.
Yep.
Lab
Jace.
Maniac. Jace. Not Lab Maniac. Who am I talking about?
The other
Laboratory Maniac.
Lab Maniac, yeah.
Okay. Why did
Yeah.
I feel wrong when I said it?
I got milled out, by the way, in the event this past weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I milled people out.
Did you draft the mill deck?
Yes, but it wasn't great.
Oh, okay.
I was very tired. I almost forgot to enter the
decathlon
decathlon finals.
Megan texted me. I forgot about it till just now with like
It was at like 10
2
p.m.
hours left. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just forget.
Yeah, my deck was not good, but I did play against a mill deck, which was perfect. They had a perfect mill deck, and I was just like, congratulations. Like, you did it. This is
Good job.
And also a Rakdos control deck.
Ooh.
That was very cool.
Nice.
Also couldn't be mad that I lost to that deck. It was some good games. Kitaki War's Wage coming in at number 10 here.
Yeah. 1 and a white for a 2/1. All artifacts have at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 1. It's here to hate on our combo artifact friends.
Oh, all the artifact people.
Kark Clan Ironworks.
Yeah,
KCI back in the day. You can play this and it's like,
nope.
Go straight to heck.
Yeah, this is a great little sideboard
Play it
friend.
against Affinity and be
Affinity.
like, you're dumb. You're dumb and you stink.
Do you remember the last time you played against Affinity in paper?
No, and I'm glad that I don't because I never want to. How about that?
I'm just like, that has got to be 5+ years ago that I did.
It's a billion years ago.
Wow. Number 9. Oh, this is an all-star.
Ooh, yeah.
Now talk about a card you remember.
Gifts Ungiven.
Oh, big time.
Hello. Speaking of combo decks, Storm.
Yes, for sure.
Loves it. 3 and a blue, instant. Search your library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand, then shuffle your library.
This card is iconic for sure.
Yeah. It's like some iconic art too, right? Like you see that art and you're like, this is Gifts Ungiven.
Yeah. Yeah. Instantly.
Yeah.
This card, why is it so good? It like looks at first glance like it shouldn't be so good. It shouldn't be as good as it is, but it just is.
Well, it's because you can get cards that you don't care about having in your graveyard.
Yeah.
You can just be like, yeah, you can put these in my graveyard. Maybe they have flashback.
Yep.
You just get to cast them from there. Maybe you have ways to get stuff out of your graveyard. It just doesn't matter.
They're all
it
gifts.
Just doesn't matter.
That's the secret.
Yes.
Even the ungiven ones.
Yep.
And here's another all-timer. If you're playing around in Cube, that's on Arena right now.
You always see it.
You know this good boy, Ismaru, Hound of Konda.
Oh, so cute.
So cute.
So
2/2
mad.
for 1 white mana.
I know. 1 mana 2/2. Right. And this is, again, when we talk about, or when players talk about why maybe they wouldn't go back to Kamigawa.
Yeah.
Like, it is an iconic card, but at the same time, you're like, this is a legendary creature.
Yeah, it's legendary, all right.
Why?
I mean, that hurts, right? If you're playing this card,
Yeah.
you're playing it in a white weenie deck, and you want 4 of them.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean, such a good dog.
oh, Hound of
But-
Konda.
You know?
Why are you a legend?
Why?
I mean,
because you have a first name.
doubt that you did some cool dog stuff,
Yeah.
but
Konda, by the way, was the name of that of like the emperor. No, he wasn't an emperor. He was more like he was just a person in charge.
okay, a boss.
He was. Thank you. A person in charge.
He was a boss of Kamigawa.
I just smacked my teeth against the arm of the microphone.
God! Everybody listening is in mouth pain right now.
It's fine. It wasn't hard.
Okay.
What was the boss?
The boss.
Konda is the one who stole the kami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was his pup.
So next up, this is the cycle that I think of.
For sure.
This is Kokusho, the Evening Star, and there was the whole cycle of spirit dragons.
Yep.
This one is 4 black, for a 5/5 flying. When it's put into a graveyard from play, each opponent loses 5 life. You gain life equal to life lost this way.
Yeah.
And they each have one of those, right? Where like when they leave play, something happens.
These are iconic and super fun to play with in various cubes.
Yes,
That's where I've seen
exactly.
them over the years. I'm really excited to see what they do with them all this time. We've already seen the red one at Sushi the Blazing Sky.
Yeah.
Which is a very powerful red dragon.
Yep. Big red dragon.
Big red dragon. So really
That
excited
does have
to
when
see
it
the
dies
rest.
trigger.
Does it? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Oh,
Yeah, remember you get treasures or you do something
You're
else.
right. You're right. Okay.
Yep.
So these dragons just have a death wish, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Or rather, their will is nice.
Yeah.
They have a good will. They've left us something. Thank you.
Yes. Azusa, Lost But Seeking. Of
here
course.
we go.
Iconic.
Iconic.
Freaking iconic.
You play with this card?
I've played with this card. It was one of the cornerstones of whatchamacallit. Come on.
Titan Shift?
Yes. No.
What? Which one am I thinking of? What am I
The
thinking?
one that was like turbo
Turbo Titan.
No, come on. It was not that long ago that this happened, Maria. You play the thing that untap your lands when it comes into play, then you play the bounce lands.
Yeah, you're thinking of Amulet
Amulet Titan.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Got there. Jeez.
I can't remember. I don't play big mana, but that deck.
Cornerstone of Amulet Titan, because Azusa, of course, says you may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns.
Yikes.
For 2 and a green for a 1/2.
Yeah, and that deck was busted fully in half.
Fully in half.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Number 5. This one is a card a lot of people recognize. Even if they don't play the game, they might have seen it. Because it's so funny.
It's funny.
Single black mana for an instant. 1 with nothing. Text. Discard your hand.
Why?
Why? Why not? That's what I say. Why not?
Yep. Everyone.
Just for fun.
Everyone wants to know, can you do something with this card that's broken?
Answer?
Not yet.
But someday, someone's going to slip up and forget about 1 with nothing existing.
Yeah.
And
then they're going to do something with it.
And then this is going to become
Yeah.
a Legacy All-Star. You heard it
I
here
hope
first.
so.
You
I
heard
hope
it
so.
here. 1 with nothing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Next up, of course,
Wow.
could not be complete without Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker.
Absolutely.
This is number 4.
All-star, of course, of the combo deck based on Kiki Jiki combo.
Splinter Twin.
Splinter Twin.
Yeah. There was also back when Birthing Pod was a thing.
Yep,
This is one of the
absolutely.
things that you could pod for and then go off with your combo.
This is 2 red for a hasty 2/2. Tap, put a creature into play that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control. That creature has haste. Sacrifice it at end of turn. So yeah, there you go.
And also some iconic art.
Yeah, it's really good.
You see this art and you're like, yeah, you know who that is. That Kiki Jiki.
Kiki Jiki, responsible for a lot of things that made a lot of players either really happy or really mad over the years.
Yep. And what more can you ask for?
Do you have an ETB trigger? That's really cool. Thanks, Kiki. You're a real pro.
Speaking of cards that make some people really happy and some people really mad, here we are.
Okay.
Number 3, Sensei's Divining Top.
Oof.
Well, so, someone once delivered a pizza to Watsy that requested that they ban this.
That's right.
Someone, I think, stole and put up a construction sign at Wizards of the Coast that asked them to ban this card.
Oh my God. People are resourceful.
It was, of course, the cornerstone of Counterbalance, which was, there was just a whole deck that was intent on torturing people by countering every single thing they played.
Yeah, it was torture.
Sensei's Divining Top, 1 mana, artifact, 1. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Tap, draw a card, then put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library.
If that sounds annoying to have to do, you're right. It's extremely annoying, and it's even worse to watch.
And mostly, so you could play this thing, you could play Counterbalance.
Yep.
Which was this card, which is just like an exceptionally rude card that I adore. Blue. Blue enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. So all you're doing is you're looking at the top 3 cards. They cast a spell and you're like, okay, this trigger. Okay, but before I turn it over, let's just top, and then I'll put the right thing on top.
Oh, so annoying.
And then you also had a bunch of miracles cards. You could top and put your miracle on top so that you could draw it as your first card. Great stuff. Just really good stuff,
Yeah, just really solid. Magic is Garfield intended, etc.
Yeah.
Sensei's Divining Top.
Really, really great.
Ooh, another iconic card here.
Yeah.
At number 2, Sakura Tribe Elder.
I have played a bunch of these.
Yes, I know
these
you
ones
have.
I've played in Titanship.
Yeah, okay.
Sakura Tribe Elder, 1 and a green for a 1/1. Sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put that card into play, tap, then shuffle your library.
Yeah, just...
What more do you want?
I mean, it seems very unassuming on its face.
Yeah.
But an ability like this is so useful.
Yeah.
To help you ramp and to block something when necessary.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a turn.
Just great. Just great.
Yeah, it's just a really, really solid card.
You play it in Cube. You played in Modern decks.
Yep.
You just play it. You play it. It's always there.
It's just always there.
Around and around and around again.
But what could be number 1?
Ugh.
But Umezawa's Jite.
Wow. What a card. What a card. It does so much. If you've ever played this in Cube, you know the beauty of playing this card because it
does everything.
It does everything. 2 mana, legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, put 2 charge counters on it, on Umezawa's Jite. Remove a charge counter from it, choose 1. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, or target creature gets -1 and -1 until end of turn, or you gain 2 life, equip 2. Wow. They hit you once, and then you're like, I can never do anything ever again.
You can never do anything ever again.
I can never interact during combat ever again in my life.
You look at this card and you think,
again in my life.
That doesn't seem so bad. Wrong. It is that bad.
Ever again in my life. And it's not combat damage to a player when it deals combat damage.
Period.
It deals combat damage to another creature, and it's like, great, charge counter on it.
Yep.
Combat damage
Charge
to you.
me up, baby.
Great, charge counter on it.
Yep.
Charge counter, charge counter, charge counter.
I think I'll take one up. I think I'll put one on. Umezawa's Jite. So annoying / great, whatever your style. This card is truly iconic from Kamigawa block.
Absolutely.
And spawned one of the greatest arguments in Magic history. How do you pronounce Jite?
I don't know.
I think it's
It's
Jite.
a word that exists, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real. I see Jite, but I've heard some commentators, professional commentators say jit. And I'm like, no way.
What if that's correct?
There's no way it's right. We're going to pronounce.com.
This says it's pronouncing it, but it's
not. I don't hear it. Oh, well.
No. Why won't you tell me?
Ah! There it was. I heard it. Jite. Yeah. Yeah.
What is happening?
Megan's computer for like a moment.
It was like the dubstep version. I asked how to pronounce it, but in dubstep.
That was scary, actually.
Cheat day. Okay,
Cheat day.
now I know.
We've settled that
Yeah.
now forever. Fast forwarding to now.
Yes.
We've been living in the past this whole episode, but let's live in the now, which is the now of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
Yeah.
And the first piece of fiction has been released.
Yeah. So this is all about our new planeswalker friend, Kaito. It's Kaito Origin Stories, A Test of Loyalty and the Path Forward.
Ooh, okay, great.
So A Test of Loyalty is kind of like the first part. And so we find out a whole bunch of backstory about Kaito, who it turns out used to be in training at the Imperial Palace and was best friends with the Emperor. At the time.
But not the boss.
No, that's from 1,000 years ago.
Oh.
Okay, right? We're 1,000 years in the future. Oh, that's right. And I should cover. Okay.
Oh.
This is some of the biggest stuff. 1,000 years in the future now.
Okay.
Right. Back then, kami were starting to manifest on the plane in physical form, and people were like, "What?"
Yeah.
But now it's happening a bunch. Like now, there's just kami all over.
Oh, okay.
Right. They live on the plane also. They all cohabitate.
Oh, cool.
The planes, the spirit world and the human world are kind of starting, and the moonfolk world are kind of starting to intermingle more and more and more.
Oh.
And we learn kind of later on that one of the other characters in this story is studying, there's like a gate essentially that is where the two worlds are moving to get, like the spirit world and the physical plane are moving more together. And he's trying to see, can we find out more about what's in that spirit world so that when our planes continue to merge through this gate, or when our worlds, sorry, not planes, when our worlds continue to merge through this gate, like what will happen?
Oh.
Because it won't, like, ostensibly it will be also more kami are intermingling in the physical world, but also like what else is going to go on.
Okay, sure.
But
Science.
I think that is interesting because we find out that Kaito left the palace and left training to become a samurai.
Okay.
Because the emperor was kidnapped and no one there believed him when he was like, there was a man with a metal arm who kidnapped the emperor.
I mean, to be fair, it sounds like something a kid would make up.
Yes.
The man with the metal arm took him.
And this happened like a year ago, and Kaito is only 15 right now.
Oh,
so he
okay.
was like 14
Okay,
at the time.
yeah.
And he's like, a man with a metal arm took the emperor, and everyone was like, what? And so he left and started working for basically like these undercity bosses because he was like, if anyone will be able to help me find this man with the metal arm, it's all these people connections in the undercity bosses.
All right.
But okay, here's like my bigger theory, right?
Okay,
It's like,
great.
why would Tezzeret go and kidnap the emperor? Well, it's because we know way back in the day, the Phyrexians wanted to basically took their plane and put it on top of another plane to invade it.
They did. That's
With
right.
a gate. And so there's a gate in Kamigawa that is merging to the spirit world and the physical world.
There it is.
Boom. And so maybe it's that Tezzeret kidnapped the emperor, whose name I don't think we got, but we know we know that like, right, there's this gate in Kamigawa that can bring these two worlds together. So maybe Tezzeret is working with the Phyrexians to help bring these gates.
Tezzeret 100%
trying
is.
to help get this gate tech to bring these worlds together.
The sweet gate tech, and he's like, hey, Phyrexians, I've got some knowledge here.
I've got some sweet gate tech.
Maybe you won't complete me if I tell you that this is how this is going on over there. Oh, I bet you're right. That sounds so right.
Yeah, we're getting very ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, so first, we know that Kaito right now is working the Undercity as a reckoner, which is just a person who goes around and collects gambling debts from
It's a
people.
pretty cool title, honestly.
He's
for
a very good
a bounty
pickpocket. So he goes and he like pickpockets this mark, and he takes it back to his boss, who is none other than a giant neon tattoo friend.
Oh, yeah.
Satoru Umezawa.
Cool.
So who is like an undercity, badass basically, who runs like a really big network.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't know about your loyalty. We don't know if you ever do what it takes. And Kaito's like, I got your money. Just chill out.
He's like, look, you were trained to be a samurai kid. Are you like a goody two shoes or what?
And he's like, no, I'm just here to work for you. And also secretly my own agenda is to find out more about the man with the metal arm, or to find the man with the metal arm. Okay, and so anyways, Umezawa is like, hey, okay, we heard that there's this moonfolk who's doing some kind of research on merging on like merging tech and kami. So there's like technological stuff and there's kami, and we want you to go and steal the schematics for it.
Oh.
And Kaito's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And this
I'm 15.
Moonfolk, I can't tell. I can't tell in here, but there's like the futurists, which I think are all the Moonfolk are futurists.
Okay.
I can't tell like what makes someone a futurist. Are all Moonfolk futurists, or are all futurists Moonfolk?
And what is a futurist?
Exactly. What is the difference between the two, if there is one, or like a distinction? Anyways, point is, it turns out like the futurists, I do think, are kind of on like the leading edge of tech and research, though.
Okay.
Because there's some talk of like the palace and the imperial forces, like the imperial sect was like, oh hey, maybe the futurists kidnap the emperor because you say it was a man with a metal arm, and like they could do that, right? They're like the people that would be on the leading edge of being able to do that.
Would have metal arms, okay?
Exactly. So so Kaito goes looking for this person, and it turns out that they're like hiding in a big old kami forest, essentially. Yes. And so he has to phone up his sister because his sister
phone.
Yeah, basically. They have like a hologram thing.
I was expecting like, okay, it is a hologram
it's fancier.
thing. All right.
Okay, it's fancier than a phone. It's more high tech, but he just phones up his sister.
He did the phone hand.
He FaceTimes her.
Thank you.
He FaceTimes his sister, and he's like, "Oh, hey, come here," because it turns out that his sister is training to be like the palace trains a bunch of kami diplomats also. So they treat them kind of like it's like a different country, and they have to have very diplomatic relations with them.
I want to be a kami diplomat.
And so she's training for that, and he's like, come help me in this giant forest of kami so that they don't kill me and eat me. And she's like, okay. So they go, they're not really supposed to be in this forest. They talk a lot about someone named Lightpaws, who sounds very cute, but we know nothing except that Lightpaws was both of their mentors before Kaito left, and is now his sister's mentor.
I need to see Lightpaws.
Don't know who Lightpaws is exactly, but Lightpaws is in the palace as a mentor and a person who trains people.
Great.
Okay, so they find this moonfolk in the forest, and it turns out that the moonfolk is trying to make so the moonfolk is like, hey,
can you imagine just meeting this moonfolk? Hey,
so Tameshi is their name. Okay, is his name, and he's like,
hey,
right. They have a fight.
The moonfolk's like, hey, they have a fight. This is the best drunk history.
They have a fight. Anyways, and then they finish fighting.
Sure.
And Tameshi's like, no, I'm not trying to merge them. I'm trying to protect Kami by building them essentially what looks like little mech suits.
Oh my god!
Which is where the little robot-looking raccoon comes from. It's a little
that's its mech suit.
It's not yet when we first meet it in the story. He's just built it and is like, I'm trying to build these mech suits that Kami can live in,
so they can wear them,
so they can be protected. And then there's honestly a lot of high level talk about his sister being like, okay, but drones can you're essentially making them drones, and drones can really easily be weaponized. So aren't you leading us down a dark path? Ooh. And you're like, this is a really good point. And his but my intentions are pure, and I just want to protect them. And she's like, that doesn't matter if they can be weaponized if it falls into the wrong hands. And you're like, these are some great points.
Yeah, that seems like a legitimate
worry. Concerns. Anyways. They find out. I'm kidding. And so she sees that, and she's like, she sees this little raccoon one, and she's like, oh, that looks exactly like this, the night that the emperor was taken, and you saw the man with the metal arm. I saw what looked like it was essentially a Kami being born into the mortal world, which is not usual. Usually they're born in the spirit world. A Kami being born into the mortal world. And this Kami is specifically an embodiment of the connection between the emperor and the spirit dragon from the Kami dragon from the past, Kyodai.
Wow.
Right? Kyodai is Kyodai and the emperor have a telepathic connection. And this kami is like the embodiment of that connection.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Kaito is like, hey, oh my goodness, like, if I find that kami, maybe that kami has a connection to the emperor, so I can go. They can help me find the emperor.
Tell me about you and your metal arm guy.
And sure enough, that kami is in the forest. So goes and finds that kami. But then all of Umezawa's like hench villains show up and are like, we were trailing you because we knew that you weren't loyal. And he's like, you can't take this kami. That would be like, if anyone possessed this kami that's an embodiment between the dragon and the emperor, that would be very, very bad for everyone. They would have control over all of Kamigawa. So they all get in one big old fight.
Do they all have GTs?
They all have tons of weapons. Like this one henchwoman has like these giant metal gloves that are tipped in poison.
Sick.
It's really sick. Anyways, everyone has weapons. They're all fighting. An order of people that is like protecting the kami forest shows up because they hear about the fighting. So they all start fighting. And the three people, the moon folk, Kaito and his sister, and they grab the little kami and they all run. And also the moonfolk is trying to get this kami to like get in the mech suit because he's like, get in here, you'll be safer in here. And the kami's like, no.
It's like trying to get a cat into a mech suit.
They have another run-in with one big spooky kami who has very cool art. Here's some art in the article for the lady with poison-tipped fingers.
That's so very cool.
Yeah. And then let's see. There's this big kami, Gravelighter, the kami of Forgotten Clearings.
With skeleton arms.
Yes, really big and spooky. Very mad that they're in the forest. Gets in a big fight with them also. But then the little kami is like, don't do that. And it turns out that it has some kind of like authority over the other kami and is like, don't. These are my friends.
Even though it was just bornst?
Yeah. Because it's the embodiment of that connection.
Nice.
Between the emperor and like this ambassador of the spirit world. Okay. So they all get out of the forest. They all have a big argument. Again, there is a lot of arguing. It's quite long. So Tameshi the moonfolk is like, it doesn't matter. This kami didn't want to get into the mech suit and like, I would only ever do it if they were willing. So I'll stop my research. And the sister is like, great. And then the sister's like, I'll take this kami back to the palace where it'll be safe. But the kami is like, no, I will not go with you. I want to stay here with Kaito. And Kato's like, it's because I'm trying to find the emperor. And then finally, when the moonfolk is gone, the kami does get in the little mech suit.
Cute!
And it's very cute. And that's when it transforms into a mask. And Kaito puts on the mask and planeswalks away.
Wow!
Because it turns out that the kami's name is, let's see.
Brandon.
She.
Okay.
Himoto, the kami of the spark.
Oh.
And so there's a little epilogue where he comes back to Kamigawa a year later, and we learn that he's traveling the multiverse looking for the man with the metal arm and the emperor. And that's the little origin story.
That is a lot of story.
It's a very long story, and a lot happens.
We learned a lot about what's going on in Kamigawa.
Right? So, like, the bullet points are the emperor was kidnapped.
Yep.
There's, like, an underground there's, like, the factions.
Crime world.
Like, the crime world, the imperial world, and then the undercity kind of world. And then there's the kami world and the human world, or the physical world, that are merging through the spirit gates. And then there's this new kami of the spark, who's very important.
I would watch this as a movie.
Yeah, honestly, me too.
That sounded good.
It was pretty cool.
I mean, the art that's been released for Kamigawa is gorgeous, and it just makes me feel like it just lends itself to like some beautiful
this
film
one in
visuals.
Here that seems to be Gravelighter, the kami of Forgotten Clearings, is like really cool.
It's cool.
Really gorgeous and very also spooky.
Oh, gosh, I would love to see this as an animated series. It would be so pretty.
So yeah, that's that.
Wow.
A lot of story.
A lot of story here
happened
on Kamigawa. And if you're like, that's not enough for me, or I want some behind the scenes into how they came up with all of this stuff, you can listen in to their talk. It's going to happen on the 11th, which is tomorrow, through Wizards of the Coast. And you can watch Jimmy Wong host kind of a roundtable with the developers and talk about the story of Kamigawa and kind of what they wanted to be homage to, how they developed it, and where the story is going to move forward past this point. So you can check that out on twitch.tv/magic. So yeah, I'm going to watch that. I think that's going to be pretty cool. But we got a nice amuse-bouche here.
Yeah, we did.
Of everything happening. And it was quite an amuse-bouche. It was a first course.
It was a full, it was a full course it was a full meal. It was a meal.
We talk a lot about Ultra Pro and how much they have awesome art on all of their products.
Yeah, and if you're a classic art person, they now have products specifically for you. They have their new fine art alcoves.
Okay, so the one we're looking at here is Starry Night by Van Gogh on a deck box.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Gorgeous. It's really, really pretty.
They're known for, of course, all the beautiful magic art appearing on their products. So it's kind of cool to see traditional art from outside the magic world.
You can enjoy all kinds of art.
Do you not have enough money to buy your own Van Gogh? Consider a deck box from Ultra Pro.
I don't know what you're talking about. I assume I would have to be a trillionaire.
Oh my gosh.
To purchase a Van Gogh these days. What amount of money do you think that you would have to offer to the museum
to buy
Starry Night? Like, what? Do you think that there's a number?
No, I don't think there probably isn't.
I think, there's probably not a number that you could give them.
No,
it is literally priceless.
It's priceless. Like, that's, how much money is that going to make them over the years too is indescribable. Yeah. And also,
like, if you walked up to them and you're like, I would give you... I also feel like, though, maybe they would, if you're like, I would give you $1 trillion
today in cash.
Would they feel like they had...
that they were obligated to take it
because they could further increase their collection.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or are they like, no, it's our job to make sure that this stays available to the public and not whatever your private collection is.
I don't know.
Anyways, Ultra Pro. Get some stuff from Ultra Pro for a fascinating discussion about the ethics of modern museums and art purchasing.
Everybody, thank you for listening to this episode of Good Luck High Five. I hope you feel a lot of Kamigawa flowing through your veins now. I sure do.
Yeah, I hope that, you're hyped for more story coming out of it.
Absolutely. That was great.
We'll see what happens.
I've only seen, just a few things from this set already, but I mean, my hype level only continues to increase closer and closer to midnight.
Yeah.
For Kamigawa. This set looks awesome so far.
The art is gorgeous.
This just seems like it could be, it has the potential for a home run, so I'm keeping my fingies crossed.
Yeah. I wonder what the draft environment's going to be like.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So excited for that. But yeah, thank you everybody for supporting us on Patreon. You can become a supporter at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Takes just a second and we'll give you a shout on the show. You can come play in our tournament coming up on the 15th. That's this weekend.
Wow, this weekend.
This Saturday. Come play with us.
Come play with us. It'll be a real good time.
Thank you to Ultra Pro and Card Kingdom for being our sponsors. And I'm really excited to see what else we're going to find out about Kamigawa here in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows? Who knows?
I do know one thing. No matter what creature we encounter, they'll always say, "Hey."